You grab the sunscreen, squirt some in your hand, and rub it on your shoulders. $8. 30 seconds. Sun handled, but that little bottle is only about 60 years old. Before that, the only sun protection anybody had was the skin they were born with. And the sun is a weird kind of enemy because it's also giving you something you need. It hands you a vitamin you can't get anywhere else, and with the exact same beam of light, it quietly wrecks something your future kids depend on. So this is really 4 little stories. We lost our fur. We built a shield. We walked north, and the shield turned on us. And then we solved the whole thing twice, in 2 different places, in 2 totally different ways. So the question is simple. How did one family end up in every color there is? The answer is way weirder than you think. And by the end, skin color is going to look like the least interesting thing about a person. Let's start with the fur, because that's where it all goes wrong. Our ancestors lost most of their body hair out on the grasslands of East Africa. Great trade at the time. You can sweat, you can run in the heat, you can chase an antelope until it gives up. But here's the thing nobody tells you. We didn't start out dark. Shave a chimp, and the skin underneath is pale, kind of pinkish. The fur was doing all the work, so dark skin isn't the original setting. It's an upgrade. And the moment that hair thinned out, bare skin was standing under equatorial sun with absolutely nothing in the way. Looking at the genes, that upgrade kicks in around 1.2 million years ago. Now, most people assume the reason was skin cancer. Makes sense. It's also wrong. Cancer is slow. It usually gets people in their 40s or 50s, and by then, you've already had your kids, and evolution stops paying attention. Something had to be hurting babies. Something was. It's a vitamin called folate. Folate is what your body uses to build a baby's spine, and that happens in the first month of pregnancy, usually before anyone even knows there's a pregnancy. And here's the sneaky part. The sun doesn't have to reach the baby. It breaks folate down in the blood, running just under your skin. A few hours of hard equatorial sun and your folate levels actually drop. Drop far enough and the spine doesn't close. Melanin is the fix. It soaks up the light before it gets down to those blood vessels. And in 2000, 2 scientists, Nina Jablonski and George Chaplin, lined up skin tones from populations all over the world against NASA satellite maps of how much UV hits the ground. The 2 lined up almost perfectly. Darker skin where the sun is strongest every time. So dark skin was never just a tan that stuck. It was sunscreen built into the body, protecting kids who didn't exist yet. Great system. Works perfectly as long as you stay put. But we did not stay put, because that same melanin blocks the good sunlight too. Your skin makes vitamin D when sunlight hits it, and you can't really eat enough of it to make up the difference. So, now walk north. Once you get past about the latitude of Milan or Montreal, the winter sun sits so low that the useful part of the light basically doesn't make it through the air. In Boston, from November to February, your skin makes almost none. Scientists literally call it vitamin D winter. And again, the danger isn't what you'd guess. It's not creaky bones when you're old. Not enough vitamin D in a growing girl causes rickets, which bends the bones of the hips. And the bent pelvis, back before surgery existed, meant childbirth killed you, mother and baby both. So the shield had to come off. And in Europe, a huge chunk of that comes down to one changed letter of DNA in a gene with the very catchy name SLC24A5. One letter. Nearly every European alive today is carrying it. But here's the twist. This happened embarrassingly recently. In 2018, scientists sequenced a guy nicknamed Cheddar Man, who died in England about 10,000 years ago. Dark skin, blue eyes. So Europeans stayed dark for tens of thousands of years in a place with genuinely miserable weather. So what finally flipped it? Farming. The light-skin genes spread through Europe somewhere between 8 and 5,000 years ago, right when people stopped eating fish, liver, and wild game and started eating bread, the last food that was quietly supplying vitamin D. Just walked off the plate. And if this were one lucky fluke, it should have happened once. It didn't. People in East Asia also have lighter skin, and they mostly don't have that European gene at all. They got there through completely different genes. Same problem, same continent, 2 separate solutions that never talk to each other. And the best proof is the group that skipped it. The Inuit live above the Arctic Circle, about as far from the sun as you can get, and they never lightened much. Why? Seal. Whale, oily fish. Their food was handing them vitamin D directly, so the pressure never showed up. No problem, no change. So here's the whole thing. We lost our fur and got cooked, and we answered it with pigment. The sun was destroying folate and hurting babies, and we answered it with a built-in shield. The north starved us of vitamin D and broke hip, and we answered it by taking that shield back off. And when the same problem showed up twice in two places, we solved it twice with different tools, which brings us back to your $8 bottle and your 30 seconds. That bottle is a shortcut around an argument with the sun that took 1,000,000 years and cost more lives than anybody can count. Every color on Earth is one family, still figuring out the same sun.